So I'm back for my next video. I've hit a bit of a roadblock going through the Epic arc in a battle I cannot seem to win. As soon as I reach into the area, and we'll see it shortly, I have a very fast ship come up and web me, and then maintain a distance of about, uh, it's, it webs me about 8k, and by the time I can even get within 6k of it, which is still out of my blaster range, my shield is already gone from other ships sitting out at maybe 20k pounding away at me, and I can't hit a thing. Even though I web the other ship, I'm still going so slowly that I'm only closing the distance with it very, very, very slowly. So I have purchased three 125 millimeter carbide railguns. These are named railguns. They have almost the exact same fitting requirement, power grid wise, as the blasters I had before, so my power grid's still at the same situation of one spare. I'm going to be using the exact same ammo of antimatter ammo, which, although it's the highest Tech 1 damaging ammo for hybrid weapons, does have that negative 50% range bonus, but still not a problem. On my ship, with my skills, which aren't very much, with that penalty, still have an optimal range of 5k with a fall off of 5k, which means I should be able to at least occasionally hit a target out at 10k. They don't web me until 8k. I can get within 6k. Long story short, I'm really hoping these railguns are going to be able to pop the ship that is using the stasis webifier, that I'm no longer going to have to worry about getting into range. So I'm going to go ahead and undock. This is the secondary benefit. It wasn't just my shield that was running out, it was my capacitor. In order to close the distance, I had to keep my afterburner running, had to keep my stasis webifier running, and keep my shield booster running, which drains my cap pretty quickly, within about a minute. Now that I am happy with the range that the NPC wants to stay at, I'm fine with him sitting out at 7 or 8k. I'll be able to turn off my
Warp drive
afterburner,
active.
which is a pretty big cap hog on a ship this size at least, and should be able to extend out maybe another 10 or 20 seconds on my capacitor. I'm going to go ahead and group these weapons. We can actually see that the afterburner has a 12-second duration and eats up 20 gigajoules of my capacitor, of which I have 484. So if you feel like doing the math, you can see what percentage of my capacitor it's eating per second. So here's the spawn that's been giving me the difficulty. I was able to go in, and all I needed to do was grab a person out of this wrecked ship, and I've been able to do that without any issue. But in order to complete the mission objective, I do need to destroy the ships out here. Because I've had capacitor issues in this battle, I'm not going to charge in with my afterburner. I'm going to try and conserve as much capacitor as possible for as long as possible. Also going to change the orbit distance for me here to 4,000. That'll probably give me a real orbit of closer to, say, 6,000. And you can see, even though 14, 15k, I'm already taking some pretty big hits from these ships here. Now let's go ahead and start to see if my railgun can reach out and touch them. And I'm doing a little damage already. Hopefully that'll go up a little bit as we get closer. We can see I am webified. I am taking a lot of damage very quickly while only doing a little bit myself. This is going to be close. Just in case, I'm going to go ahead and select the station and get ready to... Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and warp out here.
Warp drive active.
And with only about a third of my shield left, I did just have to warp out. I'm hoping that right now I can warp away, reload my weapons, boost my shield all the way up, let my capacitor recover a little bit, warp back in and see if that ship maybe still has its shield damage. We might get lucky. But I was also able to start doing his armor. Got it probably about halfway, so if I can go in, do the same thing, I'll have successfully killed at least that one ship. That'll lower the overall DPS. Hopefully the next time I go in, maybe I
Docking
can kill two
permission
ships.
requested.
Actually, I'm not going to dock. I initially did hit dock instead of warp. Coming back to the station, but that's not actually necessary. So for the encounter, looks like I can't align to the encounter, but I'm going to go ahead and double click to get my ship generally flying in that direction that I just came out of warp from. I'm going to wait a few seconds here for my capacitor to finish recharging. Warping does take up some of your capacitor too, so I want to be as close to full as possible. We can see there was definitely a drastic change in the difficulty of the mission. All the other ones that I've been running have been all that you've seen of essentially no challenge at all, and this one's really pushing my ship to its limits. So we'll warp back in. I've got most of my capacitor back. Hopefully by the time I come out of warp and get within range of the hostile NPCs again, it'll be pretty much fully charged. So I'm pretty sure it was one of the katanas I was attacking. I'm going to go ahead and lock them all up. I'm going to start trying to get in range right away. Yes, and there's our one that we were attacking before. He still has his, pretty much all of his damage, which is a really good thing for us. I might actually pulse my afterburner just a little bit once they start hitting me to get into range quicker, and here they come. So I'm going to give it one pulse, or one cycle. As soon as I get within the 10k, I get to hit my stasis web of fire, try and pin him down, turn on my railguns, and let's start taking him out. Wow, and there goes my shield very quickly. And I've got to warp out again. Wow.
Warp drive active.
Ah, and we were able to pop him. Let's see if we can get out before we take armor damage. And how about that? Probably about, was that 5%? 5% shield. But we were able to pop one. That was our goal. I will go ahead and... Oh, that's why I was struggling. I never hit my shield booster. That was not bright. Well, we do definitely see how much harder these missions can become. And how even little mistakes, like not having that booster on for just a few seconds, brought my shield away almost instantly. It definitely shows the value too, even because they can get through my entire shield so quickly. If my shield was simply bigger and more resisty through the use of extenders and hardeners, how much more effective that could probably be as a tank. Oh, and it looks like a little bit of damage did sneak through into my armor. Which isn't a major problem. It's not going to damage any components, and we're not really relying on my armor for my tank, but still something I'm going to want to make sure I remember to repair once I dock again. And this time I'm thinking, now that we've reduced their DPS by completely destroying a ship, I should this time be able to go in and hopefully wipe out the whole rest of the spawn, ideally. And we came right in on this bounty hunter. So we're going to go for him first. Do the same thing when I cycle of my afterburner just to push me into range. You'll see my speed go up, and then just as it gets to full speed, the cycle will end and my speed's going to come right back down. But actually, we're going to switch targets because I'm in range of this guy already. Turn on my shield booster this time. Now the railguns definitely do less damage. That is the downside of being able to hit at range. I am able to keep within, or pretty close to that optimal range without my afterburner, which is going to help out my capacitor a lot. Main reason I'm using the Stasis Webifier right now is to keep his transversal velocity down, keep him just being slower to make him easier for me to hit. And we'll orbit the next guy. We can see my camp is holding out okay so far, but it's definitely not looking great. My shield is actually starting to recover and increase from where it was, so hopefully I'll be able to turn it off for a little bit here shortly. Go ahead and kill off my shield booster in the hope of keeping my weapons on long enough to knock out this bounty hunter here. Doesn't look like I'm going to be able to. Nope, no cap, no shield.
Warp drive active.
But I was able to do some more damage, knock out some more ships before having to warp out. It looks like all the other ships that had been in that area may have gotten within range now, which is why I'm taking some pretty big damage again. Well, you see the process now for this more exciting battle. Even when you are outclassed, that doesn't mean you necessarily can't win the battle. If I wanted to become even more efficient, I could maybe be trying to align it before I warp, stay in a few more seconds, and really push things to the edge. But I'm happy playing it safe and not doing anything too crazy. Just warping in, blowing up at least one ship. As long as you're doing that, you're going to complete the mission, and then warping back out. The disappointing part is that this is a very long process compared to most of these missions you've been seeing me run. Here I am having completed a whole video and I'm only, maybe halfway through the mission, as opposed to normally I can knock out 2 or 3 and talk for a while. And actually now it's saying I have completed the mission in the objective area. Perhaps I only had to, because it did say I had to destroy her captors. Apparently I didn't have to destroy them all. So I'm going to go ahead and dock. But you see, I still, despite having to do all this warp out, warp in, and ship refitting, still wasn't a big reward, just a little over 200,000. Not ideal, but it's showing that I'm starting to get outclassed already with these current missions. Hopefully they get easier for me, at least for the next couple of days until I can fly my cruiser. Which, if we take a look, Caldari Frigate still has a day and a half of training on it, and I've been knocking out a couple of other skills here and there. Got my Galente Industrial to 1, did some shield and missile skills. So even if I started right for it, we're still looking at a day and a half before I can fly a cruiser. So hopefully at least the next couple days worth of missions I'll be able to manage using just my frigate. So there we are. I'm going to go ahead and turn in this mission, continue training skills, continue running hopefully slightly easier missions, and I hope to see you next video.